We'll come up with a better one. We'll come up with a
Yeah.
better intro here soon. I'm notorious for having really bad intros. Uh,
Uh,
this is no different. Welcome everybody back to this thing that we still are kind of unsure on what we're gonna call. You sent me some names. What were the names that you said we should change it to?
oh, if I know, I'm gonna have to go back.
One is thinking out loud.
Uh-huh.
I don't like that one. And then the other one was uncertain minds. I do like that one.
Yeah.
My only hesitation with the uncertain minds, which I do like, is it says nothing about science. Um,
Neither one of them do.
correct. But we'll figure an official one, and then we'll kind of go from there here soon. Last week we were not here. I canceled on Richard kind of last minute. It was my daughter's birthday, and things and stuff happened, and um, yeah. So, anyways, we did the birthday stuff and all that shit. So we weren't here last week, but I don't remember what the fuck we talked about 2 weeks ago. No, so I apologize. Usually, I make it a habit of doing a quick little um, kind of fact check, I guess, if you will.
Mhm.
um, Going over stuff that maybe I said incorrectly or that we should talk about or go over again. But again, unfortunately, I don't remember what we talked about 2 weeks ago. So I think we're gonna skip that. But I will say this before I allow Richard to kind of say his words. I will say this: if you've been following along, or if you're brand new to this, well, if you've been following along, you know. But if you're brand new to this, um, we're just two regular humans discussing science stuff, and we're not experts. We're just, for the most part, regular humans, amateurs, I guess, if you will, that enjoy science and having conversation about science. And nothing we say should be taken as that's the information. It's just information. I don't know if it's the information, but it's just information. And we're here to kind of learn from you guys as much as we are to learn from each other. And again, the comments, and as we do live searches and do all that shit. So that's kind of the point of this. I don't know what you want to add to that, dude.
Um, yeah, I mean, I'm here to learn as much as I'm not really teaching anything, but I'm here to learn.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is we're probably more here for that, not really to educate. We do talk about some topics, and we talk about them from the perspective that we understand them from, but we're definitely not, and we hope that you don't take these as an educational thing, because it really shouldn't be taken as not as us teaching you, I guess, and more so as we're here to kind of teach each other, if that makes sense. So, at any rate, appreciate you guys being here. To the few people that are here every single week, super duper appreciate you guys. Um, Today, you wanted to talk about what? I don't know even know if you remember what we wanted to talk about.
Has to do with the universe learning, or basically uh, just the direction that evolution is going.
Okay, so I must admit I prepared absolutely nothing, so I'm going to be doing a lot of live googling and looking stuff up as we go along. Um, but what do you know about it? Like, what do you mean? What the fuck does that even mean? Evolution is learning. That's what you said, right?
Yeah. So the universe is learning through evolution. So it basically in real time is correcting mistakes, or basically the same way that humans can evolve to adapt to different climates. the universe is evolving to adapt to uh, different um areas of space, I would say. So it's um, pretty much everything that the universe is made up of. The of course, your planets and your stars and everything are evolution of older planets and stars. Things aren't going to be formed exactly the same.
Is I just googled just that. Is this what you're talking about? The didactic autodidactic universe theory proposed by physicists, including researchers working with Microsoft, which is interesting, suggests the cosmos is not static but a self-learning machine that evolves its own physical laws over time, similar to machine learning algorithms. It posits it posits, I don't know what the fuck that word is, that the universe opposes, I mean, I'll say it that way, that the universe optimizes itself, changing constant, to persist, to continue.
Yep. That's pretty much it. It's a giant feedback loop. So it takes its own data and it kind of makes its adjustments to perfect itself.
All right. So the key aspects of self-learning, the self-learning universe is, the universe is thought to operate without external direction, evolving through a process analogous to AI training, kind of like AI training, I'm sure is what that means, or
Mhm.
similar to AI training. Irreversible evolution learning implies a one-way change, which is consistent with, the very first episode that we had, which was, what was the word?
Um,
Decay. The word for decay.
Entropy.
Entropy, yeah, that's what that was about. One-way change, which is consistent with entropy, meaning the universe's laws evolve without reverting to previous states. Rather than fixed from the start, emergent laws, rather than fixed from the start, physical laws, gravity and constant, like the speed of light, might be the outcomes of a self bootstrapping autodidactic dactic autodidactic system. I need to Google that fucking word. Structure from chaos. The universe learns to organize itself, forming complex structures, stars, galaxies, from simple initial, particle interactions. Information transfer. Some interpret this along with the development of human consciousness as the universe learning about itself through its own components. This theory challenges the notion of a purely static, randomly generated universe, proposing instead that the universe is constantly rewriting script. However, it is an evolving preprint theory and not a fully established scientific law. Um, Take that for what it's worth. That's all AI compiling information from the internet. Even that last little sentence was from Reddit, and Reddit is usually a cesspool of information. So
Mhm.
again, everything we Google, take it for what it's worth. There are a lot of, uh, they do cite a lot, but I don't know where they're citing it from. The next web, like I don't know how awesome the next web is. Futurism, I don't know how awesome that is. Um, so again, everything we're reading here is based off of a quick AI overview of this stuff. So
Yeah, you should look up Lee Smolin. Have you heard of that
let me see.
physicist? Lee, Lee Smolin, Smolin.
Okay, this guy right here.
That guy right there. So he has theories that basically say that universes are born from black holes. So um, imagine universes that produce more black holes would produce more universes, and that gives you kind of like a cosmic natural selection.
Okay, say that again.
So his theory is saying that universes are born from black holes, or our universe is born from black holes, and that black holes create new universes. So, if that's true, then universes that produce more black holes will produce more universes. So, it essentially gives you a cosmic natural selection, almost like it's each iteration or each universe that's birthed from the black hole would have a specific change for that um, you know, during evolution, or it would change to correct itself from the last universe.
Okay. Just very quickly, got a comment on the YouTubes. An autodidact, autodidact. I need to figure out how to say that. So I'm still going to Google it just for that. System is a structured, self-directed approach to learning where an individual acts as their own teacher, designing their curriculum, sourcing materials, and managing their own pace. So homeschooled. Uh,
Mm.
the universe is homeschooled. Is is what that word means. Uh, that's fair, I guess.
Antisocial.
It's well, I don't know if that means antisocial, but
It it
it's
doesn't.
it's definitely um that perfectly describes
Hmm.
um homeschooling. Anyways, it's pretty fascinating. I wonder what kind of I don't know if you know of any studies or papers that kind of support this besides the stuff that we've read here is what's your proof. I'm one of those humans where it's just like what's the proof.
Um,
I
the
and,
only thing I
and
can
I fully understand that nobody's claiming that this is a fully proven one. So
no, it's plausible, mathematically plausible, not necessarily proven yet. Um, just saying that the way that the universe is evolving is almost as though the universe has its own natural intelligence, and um, it's not that it has like a consciousness, or that is evolving into intelligence. It's more like molecules or particles are stabilizing. So that stability is what is referred to as the universal intelligence.
yeah, that's crazy. I've seen AI work, and there there's nothing in my brain that says, "Oh shit, this is how the universe works."
Right.
There hasn't been anything. By the way, I did look it up, and it's autodidactic. Auto Autodidactic is the way you would pronounce that. For any of you guys that are OCD like me and need to figure that shit out. Uh,
Mhm.
yeah. So if you've worked with AI, and I know they only say it's like AI, they're not saying it is AI, and they're just making a comparison so the layman, I guess, humans like myself can understand how they're interpreting it. So I get it 100%, but I don't know. My bias is my bias is classical physics. Like that is I'm sold on classical physics. And
Right.
I understand that this is not the correct way to approach science. 100% not the correct way to approach science. But in everything we've learned about physics and everything we've learned about just science in general is it is the way it is, and you can't really change the way it is. And it evolving means that it's changing the rules constantly, and you can't really eh, here's like you can't go so far and then kind of change the rules and expect it to continue working the exact same way, if that makes sense. My only comparison that I have and I understand it's a false equivalency. So I understand it's not a very good analogy, but it's what I've got right now. I have 4 kids. 3 are my original kids, and then I have my oops. She's not an original. She was the less planned of the 4. And with the older ones, we had kind of certain rules. But with our younger one, we were old. Like we were just old. We were already in our 30s. Um when we had that one. The other ones I had by the time I was 21. Completely different mindset. And in my household, that's been brought up a few times. We're just like, that's if back in my days, right? The older kids tell the younger one, back in my days, that show would not have flied. Um,
Hmm.
we wouldn't have been doing that.
Yep.
But there's a rule change, so I can't expect similar outcomes between my children. And again, I get it's not a one-to-one comparison, but it is because what this is saying is I make rules, the universe makes rules, learns from itself, and then says, "Nope, I need to change something." And then now it's something completely different. Now it can't go back. It's not going to retract the old laws, but it
Hmm.
is going to have new ones. Now at the same time, maybe that's why quantum physics doesn't fucking make sense, and our brains are just broken because
They're changing the rules.
they're changing the rules because it's auto correcting and it's just layering one rule over another rule. I don't know what this means. Face turquoise. My wife always does this. She puts emojis and the emojis don't come through over on this side. So it just says face turquoise covering eyes. Um
Mm.
I'm sure it means something. I'm gonna have my daughter teach my wife how to do emojis because my daughter can do emojis. My wife cannot do emojis. That's shit's hilarious. But anyways, yeah, it's just fascinating. What other words do you have about this crazy fucking hypothesis?
Um, I mean, you have to think of how our brains have evolved. You know, you have the symmetry in neurons, or you have neurons that basically have come together to basically create our brains and how those work. Um, Electrons coming together,
But
creating different elements.
from a human perspective, they haven't evolved. For 300,000 years, the human brain has remained virtually the same. There's no evidence that the human
Mhm.
brain has evolved. Now, from us Homo sapiens to whatever we were before, Homo erectus or whatever it is they're saying we come from, sure, there was an evolution there. But in the 300,000 ish years that humans have been Homo sapiens, there has not been there hasn't been quantifiable, qualifiable evidence to say yes, it's changed,
Mm.
it's evolved.
Okay.
Now, in the
Um,
grand scheme of things, 300,000 years is fucking nothing.
Correct.
Like that's no time whatsoever. So there's that. I I understand.
Especially when you're talking about 1.5 billion years or so. So,
Correct.
yeah.
Or 13 billion of the fucking universe. So yeah, like
Mhm.
I get it. 300,000 years is pocket change compared to get it 100%.
Yeah. I mean, if we want to go even simpler, you have cells that create organisms. So it's nothing but just self-organization. And that's what what I'm talking about. The particles itself are organizing themselves. And that's uh what is referred to as the universe having a certain intelligence. And that's where we're saying that it's learning. So particles that may organize into a um, specific state of matter may change to another state of matter, um, through evolution of the universe as the universe learns.
Yeah. I mean, it at the end of the day, maybe it's not the correct word, but there's an argument, or the argument is that this is just alchemy at work. Um, Things merging together to create something else. And it's
Mhm.
not, maybe even not that it's learning from each other, it's just a completely new system. It's a completely new environment. I don't know if this is where they're going with it, as it's quote unquote learning itself, because it's not learning itself. I mean, the universe doesn't have a brain, it doesn't have a nervous system, it doesn't have any of that stuff, but there is all kinds of stuff colliding. There is plenty of stuff interacting with each other from one system to another system, from one region. What do they call it? Local and unlocalized events, or areas, right? So, like, our solar system is a local area, and then you have the galaxy. You can still consider that local, but then the Andromeda galaxy, that's not necessarily local. Might be, but I'm just to give an example. So when those particles start to collide, that's when they start to learn from each other or interact with each other, I guess, and create something new.
Yeah, and that's where we get element discovery. So you're starting to, once certain particles, you have protons and your electrons of certain particles start to collide. Um, there's a mixing of electrons, which can create elements or new elements or other elements. They're starting to find matter or material that's able to change. In a lot of the quantum research film, I mean the quantum research sciences, they're finding materials that are able to change states. So it can be a liquid when it's in one state, and a solid, complete solid in another state, depending on, say, an electrical charge that's put to that specific material. So these are things that we are discovering, and I'm sure that this is an element, or this is something that's already out there. It's just, we're finding it out on Earth here.
Yeah. Yeah, this is where my brain starts to kind of clash with just my own thoughts, and um because it's what I understand the universe to be, and this idea, and this is just how science progresses and how science evolves, and we get to understand, is question what we already believe. But it hurts the brain to believe that it's just not a fixed thing. Now, I right now I'm I'm open to the idea, and I look forward to the research that people are doing for this, because it'd be such a fascinating thing to discover to discover that the universe isn't just this fixed thing. It is always evolving with different set of guidelines beyond what we understand it to be. It's like super fascinated. The question is, are autodidactic systems the same as primordial meta law? No, they're different, because I think the primordial meta law is that we are fixed, and those are the fundamentals, if I understand it correctly. Um, because the primordial stuff is very fundamental. It's the fixed stuff. I could be wrong, obviously, but um,
We'll find out next week.
yeah, when we clarify this, but the way I understand it is they're not the same, not the same thing.
Yeah. So I mean, if you think about it, our galaxies right now, they're stable structures. I would say gravitationally. But if they were unstable, usually they disappear pretty quickly. They'll dissipate. So the stable structures accumulate. So this is what kind of the idea is. What I'm saying is if it's unstable, it's going to die out. Just like a bad idea dies out pretty quickly. Useful idea will persist. This is the selection, the natural selection of the universe. Basically, if it works, it stays. If it's not working, it pretty much disappears pretty quickly.
Well, I don't know because pandas exist and they shouldn't exist. Um,
Um, they're funny.
and the only reason I bring up such a stupid thing is one, it is real. Pandas, biologically speaking, should not exist. They should have been done a long time ago. But also, we as humans have this weird habit of wanting to intervene and stuff. So I wonder if in all of this, people have taken into consideration how humans are contributing to this new learning stuff, right? Because we are.
Mhm.
Right now, we've got Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 uh, somewhere out in space beyond our solar system, exiting our solar system, depending on who you ask. Some say it's still technically in our solar system. Others say no, it's technically outside of our solar system. But either way, that motherfucker's far. That
Yeah,
thing is far out there,
it
and
hasn't gotten out of the black hole then, according to Lee, because that's where our universe is.
yeah, our our galaxy for sure. But I mean, there is that theory that the universe is inside of the black hole. Yeah, I've heard that before, but it's still technically in our solar system. The sun's orbit, it's still affected technically by, according to some, by ours, uh, which doesn't make sense because it's not orbiting the sun anymore. But at any rate, we are affecting the way the universe continues to evolve, even if it's at a super minuscule, tiny level. Because I fully understand how insignificant we are until we start to pollute with information, pollute with our existence. Because you see what we've done to ecosystems. We say
Mhm.
humans are insignificant, and yet people claim that we cause global warming. Now I don't know one way or another if we have, but obviously we're not that insignificant if we can change or affect the way an entire globe's weather pattern moves forward. The way we've done space travel is my thought, where we could probably affect the way the universe is receiving that information that we created, and
Mhm.
and modifying itself or colliding with itself or learning from that in a way that it wouldn't have had we not existed. So that's where for me it's super weird that if this is true, obviously the universe is taking us into account and we're affecting the way the universe is evolving as well.
Um, I think when it comes to the universe, then that's where our insignificance comes in. I think we can affect how the Earth evolves. I don't think we're changing anything with the universe.
Yeah, because the universe is so much bigger, but this Earth is fucking massive. Like our brains cannot comprehend.
Mhm.
I don't think anybody can really actually comprehend how ginormous this rock is. And I mean, if we put it into scale, people talk about how we as humans are overcrowding this earth, but those same humans haven't driven in Kansas. Like those same humans, like you just drive the eastern,
Hours.
yeah, the eastern plains of Colorado, like say Brush on that way, Bennett, keep going east into
Just
Nebraska.
yeah, buyers.
by
That'll
like
tell you.
there's nothing. Like you take a trip I-70 east from Denver, and once you pass Aurora, like there's really nothing fucking there. You drive through the entire state of Kansas until you get to Missouri,
Mhm.
basically nothing there.
Right.
I think the last report or kind of weird study that I seen was that you could take every single human and dump us into the Grand Canyon and we would all fit.
Hmm.
So this idea that we like I think even to the globe, our planet, we're still pretty fucking insignificant. Like we're tiny, we're minuscule. The earth is fucking ginormous.
But can you imagine the smell?
This yeah, at the Grand Canyon,
Yeah.
it'd be fucking gross. Even in an elevator, sometimes that smell gets rough.
Oh, man.
For sure. So I don't think we're overcrowding the earth. I don't. I still think we're insignificant um, to the earth. I think George Carlin said it best. Is like we're just a cancer to this earth, and at some
Yeah.
point it's gonna have enough of us, and it's gonna fucking get rid of us, and the earth is just gonna recycle itself and do what it needs to do to heal itself. And
It's it's
it,
like that movie Maze Runner. All of a sudden, it just changes where the walls sit in the maze or whatever. Like it just resets every night.
yeah, I haven't seen that. Haven't seen
Oh,
it. Sounds like a stupid movie.
it is, but you got to watch it.
Yeah. I'll, I'll try it. I'll try it. Yeah. So this is fascinating. It's fascinating to consider what our and I know it's probably very minuscule, but what our contribution to changing the way the universe evolves. Because there's so much space dust that eventually is gonna be gone. Um,
Mhm.
just it's just weird to think about how the universe is just it's changing.
Yeah.
And I'm interested to see what they mean by it's self learning because the way I see it is not self learning. It's not learning from itself. It's just uh, different localities are starting to interact with each other, and it's a new experience.
Yeah,
So
it's basically saying that particles are learning from each other, and because most of the universe is, well, all of the universe is made of these different particles. That those particles learning from each other or learning from the different states of each other and interacting or reacting to those different states of other particles, that's the intelligence that they're saying is the universe learning.
this is it's so difficult to break this down because we're quasi talking about evolution, where we're kind of talking about an evolving state, an evolving system,
Hmm.
and the way evolution has been presented to humans is that one organism will become something else. This is where a lot of people, especially in the religion world, and I say this as respectfully as I possibly can, it has nothing to do with religion, has everything to do with being uneducated. Ignorance is the proper term. Religion has nothing to do with that. It's just
Yeah.
being ignorant. And I mean that by definition, not a derogatory thing. Is just if you Google the word ignorant, it's I just don't have the information. It's a lack of information, lack of knowledge.
Hmm.
So I'm not using it in a derogatory way. Um, but like that's even in the science world, if you go look at videos about evolution, a lot of them claim, a lot of scientists will claim that evolution is a fish will become a human, and that's not the way it fucking works. A chimpanzee will become a human, and that's not the way it fucking works
Right.
ever. Like that's never been the case, and you talk to some good scientists and they'll break it down to you on how it is. And I'm afraid that that's what's going on here is they're saying that it's self-learning, it's kind of like AI. And even that the particles are learning is like, what the fuck does that mean? Are they learning or are they adapting to new environments?
I
And
think of it more like you take a fork and stick it into an electrical socket and you get shocked and then you realize I'm not doing that again. That's you've learned now not to stick a fork into a socket. Um, that's the way I
there's
see
no,
the
yeah,
universe.
no, I get it, but there's no evolution from that, right? So like evolution from a biological perspective is I have sex with a human and either myself or that human has a gene that's mutated. Something is fucky in the DNA.
Mhm.
So when those cells come together to create a child, it absorbs that mutation, whatever it is. And if it's beneficial for the environment, that mutation will continue thriving. If it's not beneficial, unfortunately, that human's going to die. And this is what we would call the survival of the fittest or natural selection is the
Mhm.
cold-hearted way of saying your genes, your biology sucks for this environment, so you're
Yeah.
going to die. This happens a lot with humans. There's a certain tribe that lives in the water, and they don't literally live in the water, but they do a lot of fucking living in the water. I mean, their huts are they put them above water, and they live literally above the water in these huts. But because they spend a lot of time in the water, their lung capacity, there's a mutation somewhere where their lung capacity is significantly greater than mine. They're still human. They just have a mutation in their gene, webbed feet. Uh,
Mhm.
they tend to have more humans with webbed feet in those areas. They're not going to become fish. They just have certain mutations that thrive more um, in those environments. And then in a billion years, in 200,000 years, there might be enough of a mutation where and again, I'm not a biologist, so please take this for what it's worth. But my understanding is you can breed with the different. Now, humans do weird shit all the time. I'm just giving you an example.
New
You
York.
you you can breed with the different species, and it'll actually be a viable thing. It'll continue, and that's where you get the kind of new species and shit like that. And it becomes
Yeah.
something kind of new. I mean, that's how we became a thing. It's is two different species breeding to become something else. So
Yeah.
the theory is,
Think of it in a particle sense. So you have a certain number of electrons, certain number of protons within that particle. Say you have an odd number of protons in one particle, even number of protons in another, but you have the same amount of electrons. And when those two particles collide, those electrons will then cancel each other out, and so then it's almost as though that particle now is uh, either pushed away or it can be absorbed. The amount of protons will absorb and create, say, um, a new particle or a new type of matter. And so that's what I'm talking about with that type of evolution is that just like you would have that mutation of a gene, this now is a mutation of two particles.
yeah, that is mind numbing to consider. And it kind of well, it doesn't fully destroy everything we believe, but it definitely does. And maybe I'm coming at this the wrong way, but I think before it would bring us forward, it kind of sets us back a little bit more. But it would be fun to kind of if this does come to fruition, which I don't think it will. I don't believe in this, but I'm interested in pursuing this. Is it kind of just the foundation's there, and then this is going to crumble that foundation a little bit more. Like it's going to bring it down to the footers a little bit more. Just so interesting to see scientists. One, it has to take a lot of balls to be like, I don't believe in all of this structure. Fuck what everybody else believed before me, because that's the way we got here. Is people saying, I think you're 100% wrong. But imagine Einstein being like, I think fucking Newton was kind of okay, but like he was way wrong and nobody took him seriously for a very long time until he's like, I told you so.
Yeah.
That's how we end up here. Is I'm sure this is how people felt in the early 1900s when Einstein, this fucking weirdo um, from Austria, presents a hypothesis and challenges everything we understood at that point. Like that's how I feel right now. It's just like you're challenging everything that I believe.
Mhm.
I'm not mad at it. It just the brain is having a difficult time absorbing that information. Very,
Yeah.
very fascinating.
Sometimes my brain does as well, especially on a Tuesday night.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It's I mean, physics is weird that we need to put that on a shirt already. I'll make the shirts, but physics is fucking weird.
Yeah.
And you learn one thing, and then all of a sudden they present another research paper that says, "Well, maybe." You're like, "I just spent an entire decade learning this, and now you're telling me that all of this is mostly wrong, and now
Hey,
you."
imagine in college you just spent 600 and something dollars on a book that tells you that tells you
This, yeah.
and now somebody on the internet is telling you the complete opposite of your $600 book.
And by the way, that person on the internet is Lee Smolin, who's
He's
actually
Smolin. He's
yeah, it's not Edgar and Richard, it's fucking Lee Smolin. Lee Smolin is an American theoretical physicist, a founding member of the Perimeter Institute of Theoretical Physics, an adjunct professor of physics at the University of Waterloo. That sounds made up. And a member of the graduate faculty of the philosophy department of the University of Toronto. Pretty well regarded from what I'm gathering here. He's written several books. Most professors have written a ton of books.
mhm.
Um, that's kind of how they stay relevant. Um, yeah. So, anyways, fascinating stuff. Physics is weird. Science is weird. This life is weird. Everything we're doing is worthless. Uh,
Tomorrow it'll be something else.
tomorrow, well, it'd actually be the same thing. Uh,
Well, yeah. You wake up, all your particles are still there.
this is what I mean. It's not learning, isn't it? At least in my environment, this shit ain't learning anything. Like it's not learning anything because tomorrow it's gonna look just like today. Everything's gonna be normal. So it's fascinating to think even that statement to say the universe is evolving and it's learning from ourselves, but yet our every single day is quite literally the same thing. Slightly different adventures, but it's I'm gonna wake up, take a shower, brush my teeth, eat,
Yeah.
maybe go on a walk, maybe not go on a walk. It's basically rinse and repeat for most humans. So to think that the universe is like, no, everything
Mhm.
you we knew is way different now. It's
Yeah, the next day, I'm evolving into something completely different. You'll know it later.
yeah, it's crazy. And
Mhm.
maybe we won't know it later. That
Oh, well, yeah, you might
that
not be around.
yeah, we won't be around. Like that's the other frustrating part is that.
Mhm.
I was just learning about how when the moon became the moon, where it was, and like I like it fucking hurts me. It's weird. I'm a fucking weirdo. It hurts me that I was not there. It pains me. Like I get physically fucking ill that I wasn't there around to see like when the moon was 20 times closer.
Oh yeah.
Something I just learned, and it
Yeah,
looked
I mean
20 times bigger, and it wasn't 20 times. It looked 20 times bigger. I forget how the math goes.
I mean,
Uh,
we used to be able to land on the moon, and now we can just fly around it.
well, we could still land on the moon. We've got new technology, and we've got to figure it all out. Shit, our toilets didn't even work. Uh,
No.
so yeah, that's another. We should talk about that. I know it's weird, but we should talk about that at some point. This idea of technology going away.
Mhm.
I think we might have hinted towards that, but that'd be interesting. Where a lot of people can't wrap their head around how did we land on the moon in the 60s, in 69 was it? The very first time we landed on the moon, and then I think it was 69 if I remember correctly. And
Mm.
then now we're kind of struggling. Well, it's new technology, it's new rockets. We don't want to do it the same way we did it before. So our trajectory is different. Like this 10-day, what was it, like 4 of those 10 days were 3 or 4 of those 10 days were orbiting the Earth in
Yeah.
um high Earth orbit, or high Earth orbit, in order for us to make sure that it was safe to continue. Once everything was safe to continue, then they started their trajectory towards the moon, which takes 2 3 days, 3 days if I'm not mistaken. And then they did the wraparound, and then they came back home. So like it was a lot of that time was just, we just want to make sure this motherfucker is gonna make it. I think 1 or 2 days, forget how what it was,
And not fall apart.
and not fall apart. And I think the trajectory we took before was a little bit different. We know more stuff now than we do before. And I think now we just want to be effective. We're not too worried about being efficient. Um Anyways, I don't even know what the fuck got us on this rant, but um fascinating, interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying. We're not gonna be around for the changes, and I want to see the changes. I would love to be around to see the sun. I mean, I die almost instantly, but to see the sun swell and
Yeah.
extend, like, that would be interesting. It'd be interesting to see how far the moon gets
I'm
before
just
we have no tides. And
I'm just waiting every day for Betelgeuse to go supernova, and it probably already did. And I'm just waiting for it to get to my eyes.
well, they say it already did. We're just waiting for it to to do it. Um, I was waiting for it last year when they told us it was going to happen, like in August.
Yeah.
Um,
Somebody started a YouTube video, and I'm like, that's not real.
yeah, it was
It's,
just we kept waiting, and any moment now. The math
yep.
is there, and it says we'll see the light at any moment. Now you go outside and you're barely going to see it, but
Right. I mean, you can see it twinkling and stuff. You see it all flared and red and all that kind of stuff if you really look.
um, yeah, which is why they say they're it's we'll see the light of the supernova, which they hypothesize already happened, obviously billions of years ago, and it's just not, the light's still traveling towards us.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Well, that's as much computing power as I have for this particular topic. I'm sure this topic has a lot more information, but I'm not smart enough. So this is what I have.
We'll dive deeper.
Yeah, at some point. Yeah, anyways, I appreciate you guys sticking around. There was a few of you guys that jumped on. Super duper appreciate it. For those of you guys that didn't watch live and you're watching the replay, I appreciate you guys. Hopefully you guys can join us on the lives, or make comments. The comments after the lives kick off every once in a while on some videos. There's been a couple videos where people make some good comments, and maybe one of these days we'll spend time looking those over and having a conversation about those. And there's been one or two comments where like this foo is way too smart.
Yeah, way beyond me.
And maybe it's the other way around, and I don't understand it because you're too dumb. But I'm thinking is there's humans that are making comments that are like way higher than my education level, and I'm like, I don't know how to contribute back to you other than I appreciate the information so I can research it and make myself better. So we always appreciate those comments. I appreciate them. Richard, they can find you on your YouTube channel, which is what?
Engineer of reality. The only thing you're gonna find right now are these videos, replays of these videos, but uh, pretty soon I'm gonna come up with something to post there.
Yeah.
Yep.
This channel right here, we'll have these science stuffs. I've been meaning to make other types of content, filmmaking stuff, and then I don't know if reviews, but yeah, filmmaking stuff and fixing videos and all that shit. But life is life and doesn't always allow you to do what you want to do. So um yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, appreciate you guys. Thanks for putting up with us. Thanks for contributing.
Oh,
And go.
just to throw something in, if you are on Facebook, you can find me on as my regular name, Richard Fletcher. Go there and follow me. I have a lot of little interesting articles that pop up every day. So
Yeah, it's interesting to scroll by. Sometimes I'm just doom scrolling. Sometimes I'm actually doing a lot way more than I should be doing that. Doom scrolling and I come across your stuff every once in a while. It doesn't pop up as much as I would think. But it's interesting to see I'm still interested like in the fluctuation. There's a lot of them that have really good traction and good conversations and comments and all that shit. So yeah, for sure go check that shit out and make comments. Some of the stuff you put on there is kind of weird. Um, dare I say controversial, maybe even. Um,
yeah,
yeah, for sure. Which is
I get
not.
a lot of people. They're like, "Well, where did you get this from?" And I'm like, "I cite the source like right there at the bottom. I don't understand."
Oh man, you'll never fix stupid on Facebook uh, or on social media in general. It's that's always the long running joke. It's just they usually talk about this for like when you're selling something, like you tell
Mhm.
them in the post where it's located, how much, and then all the comments are everything that are asking the question about everything you've already posted in the post. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, it's hilarious. It's hilarious. So you guys need to kind of water down all of the dumb comments and make go out there and make some smart comments. Challenge the information. Big on challenging the information. So
Yeah.
um, at any rate, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for participating. This for sticking around. I appreciate you guys' conversation, input. Anything else you want to tell the humans?
Nope. I think I'm good.
All right, that didn't work out. That didn't work out. I meant to do this one. That's the one
You
I
gotta label those buttons, man.
have to yeah. I have to label those so I don't end up with after a very serious thought doing that. I gotta label those. Anyways, appreciate you guys. Have a good one.
All right. See ya.